Yo, what is up guys? How y'all doing? C-Ball here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another commentary. Today we're going to be talking about the Electronic Entertainment Expo that is coming up at the start of next week, also known as E3. And for anyone who does not know what that is, it's pretty much just a huge conference that talks about everything to do with gaming. And seeing as you're watching this video, I'm guessing you're a big gaming fan, and E3 is definitely something you guys should be looking forward to, because you're going to find out a lot of stuff about all the new consoles, a bunch of new games that are going to be coming out, and for anyone who's a big gaming fan, this thing's going to be awesome. So make sure you pay attention and watch it at the start of next week. And yeah, so without further ado, let's hop right on in. So this commentary I'm going to be focusing more on what Microsoft needs to achieve at E3, because in my opinion, Sony with the PS4 doesn't have as much pressure on them, because for reasons that I think are kind of funny, Microsoft's the one that's been getting all the hate, and I think it's funny because Sony, a lot of the things that Microsoft's getting hate for, Sony is going to be doing the same thing or pretty dang similar things, and so I just think it's really funny that everyone's hating on the new Xbox, when in reality, if the new Xbox has weird stuff going on that's not very popular, chances are the PS4 is going to be having very similar, if not the same things going on. So that just kind of makes me laugh a little bit, that Microsoft's getting all that hate. But, you know, it is what it is. And so yeah, the first thing that Microsoft needs to do at E3 is ease all the worries that gamers are having about the new Xbox One console. You know, it's never a good thing when 4 to 6 months before your console's about to come out, you're getting more negative press and you're getting good press about your console. That's just kind of depressing. Usually when you're releasing a new console or a new game or something like that, that's when you get people that are the most excited about whatever it is you're releasing. But with the Xbox One, everyone's just getting freaked out by a lot of different things that Microsoft has announced, and in some cases they haven't really announced, but they just haven't really acknowledged it, and their silence is almost an admission of yeah, that thing that you don't want to happen, it's gonna happen. And so yeah, the first big worry that they got to address is the always on thing, and I guess they kind of already have addressed it. This one I still think they have time to change it if they get enough public backlash, because in my opinion, they did already change it. Oh, okay, sorry, I should probably explain myself really quick before I go into this. For those of you guys who do not know, initially reports were coming out that the Xbox One was going to have an always-on requirement, meaning that if you wanted to play any Xbox game, you always had to be connected to the internet. Otherwise, your Xbox One just turned into a fancy DVD/Blu-ray player. And since that initial announcement, they've gotten a lot of backlash, and because of that backlash, they've kind of retreated on that a little bit and changed that requirement to a once every 24 hours you have to sign on to Live and verify that your licenses for the games and everything else are up to date. And if you don't do that once every 24 hours, then again your Xbox just turns into a fancy DVD/Blu-ray player. And I don't know, I'm kind of split on this one, because I can see why they're doing it, because they do kind of have a problem, especially with the single-player games, with piracy and other crap going on with their games. And it just sucks when you got people who are screwing with that and ripping the game producers out of their money for games that they've made. So I can definitely see why they're doing it. However, I think they could handle this a little bit better. And this one is actually a really easy solution from Microsoft. If they would change it to having to be online once every 72 hours or even like once a week, I think that would do a lot, and I think, in my opinion, that enough gamers would be satisfied with that. This issue just wouldn't even be an issue anymore. And I really think and wish Microsoft would do this, because again, this is such an easy fix. I mean, that's all you got to do is program that into the software and you got to fix. It's not like some other issues where it's a hardware thing and you kind of, I mean, you could go fix it since you are still in pre-production models, but at the same time, if you've already started designing something a certain way, it's going to be kind of hard at this point to go back and change it unless you absolutely have to. But this one's a software thing, and they could easily fix that, so I really hope that they do so. But even if they don't, honestly, in my opinion, I don't think this one's as big of an issue, since they did go to the once every 24 hours thing. It's not ideal, but I don't think it's going to be as big of an issue. And in 6 months after the console comes out, I doubt anyone will really care about that anymore. The next thing that is big on a lot of consumers' minds is the used game issue. And recently, Microsoft did come out with a press release where they announced that with used games on the Xbox One, you're going to be able to let, I think it was up to 10 friends use your any games that you buy on Xbox Live. However, you can't be using the same game at the same time. So pretty much you're going to get a license attached to a game when you buy it, and you can have up to 10 friends on Xbox Live use that license. However, that specific license for that specific game can only be used by one person at the same time. So you can't have 10 friends get together and buy one copy of the game and then each play it at the same time. That's not going to work, and I think that's probably a good idea by Microsoft. I would have liked that because I play in a situation where I have 2 to 3 people playing in the same house, playing on the same games at the same time. So, I mean, it would have been kind of nice, but again, I think that's a little bit much to be asking of Microsoft. However, if they would have done that, maybe even just have it like 2 or 3 gamer tags can play it at the same time, I think that would have pretty much gotten rid of a lot of the used game issues, because I don't think they're going to back down on the used game issue, but they got to make concessions to make the gamers happy with it. And another thing that they were announcing with that is you can hand off your copy of a game up one time to someone who's been on your friends list for at least 30 days. However, once you've handed it off to a friend, that game can only be handed off one time. So remember earlier when I was saying about how you get a license attached to the game? That license can only be traded one time. So once you do that, it's done, and it has to be to someone who's been on your friends list for 30 days. So you can't just go sell it to someone, or you can't trade it into GameStop because they haven't been on your friends list for 30 days. So that really does suck. And yeah, so that was the main things, if I remember correctly, that were in the Microsoft press release. This one is kind of a big issue. I think it's funny that Microsoft gets a lot of hate because, honestly, I'm 90% sure that whatever Microsoft ends up doing, Sony's going to do the same thing. Oh, really quickly, up here, I get so pissed right here. This would have given me my nuclear. Shooting first at him, pre-firing, get hit markers, and he just freaking one-shots me with, I think it was a Type 25. I was so pissed right there. That would have given me a nuclear. But anyways, as I was saying, I think it's funny that Microsoft's getting a lot of hate for that, because realistically, Sony's probably going to do the exact same thing that Microsoft does. And the last thing that's worrying me and a lot of other potential buyers of the Microsoft One is the Kinect feature. And I think Microsoft is pushing this Kinect way too hard. They've kind of shown it since they first announced the Kinect, where they always talk about it very heavily at E3 and other press conferences where they're talking about new stuff going on with Xbox features, and it's really disappointing because not many people like it. And for those of you guys who do not know, they are requiring that the Kinect be on at all times for your Xbox to be running. And they show off a couple cool features, like being able to turn on your Xbox just by saying Xbox on, and you can go to the dashboard by doing a bunch of weird looking hand gestures and stuff like that. But I really don't like this because I think the Kinect is a bit gimmicky, and I doubt that I will actually ever use it realistically in some games. And the other thing that kind of worries me is a couple days ago a story broke, the Prism story broke, where, for those of you guys who do not know, the US government got busted because they were working with a bunch of tech companies and pretty much just getting tons of information about consumers without like having specific reasons to go after the specific consumers. They were just doing it to everyone, and Microsoft was one of 9 companies that was giving information to them, along with Apple, Google, YouTube, a bunch of other companies that are pretty big. So that's kind of worrying for me that Microsoft's going to be having a webcam in my wants to have a webcam in my living room that can hear what I'm saying at all times, especially when this just barely came out. So that's really worrying for me. I think they could fix this though by just making it so the Kinect does not have to be connected to your Xbox in order for it to work. I think that would be a great concession by them, and who knows, maybe we might end up enjoying the Kinect, but I don't think you can force something like that on the consumers if you want them to be happy. And I think the last thing Microsoft really just needs to do at E3, and they need to do it well, is talk about games. I can see why they were deciding to talk about some of the other entertainment stuff, like watching TV and ESPN and all that crap, but in reality, the main people who are going to be buying this gaming console for $300 to $500 are gamers, and gamers don't care as much about finding out your fantasy league stats on NFL players and while you're watching a game and crap like that. Because I mean, I'm a pretty big sports fan, but even that I was like, that's kind of dumb. And so they just really got to talk about all the gaming features of the Xbox One and why, as a serious gamer, you need to pick the Xbox One over the PS4. And if they can do all of these things at E3, I think they will emerge as the top dog, which, I mean, they've kind of been the top dog with the Xbox 360 as far as users in the United States. But they are really pushing the line as far as whether or not they'll be able to keep that title with the upcoming generation of consoles. So it'll be interesting to see with E3 next week whether or not they'll be able to do these things. For those of you guys who do not know, E3 kicks off on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time with Microsoft's press conference. Later Monday we have a press conference from EA and I believe Ubisoft, as well as Sony's going to be having a press conference later that night. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday there's going to be a bunch of other gaming stuff going on, but Monday is going to be the big press conference day. And as well, Sunday, Call of Duty Ghosts is going to be having a 30-minute little interview thingy going on. And all these things you'll be able to watch online. I believe some of them are available on the TV. I'm not sure which channels, and most of them you'll be able to watch, I believe, on the Xbox Live dashboard. I know for sure all the E3 crap you will be able to. Maybe not the Sony press conference, but all the other stuff you should be able to find online if you just do a quick Google search. So yeah, if you guys are interested in gaming, definitely go watch that. You guys will not be disappointed. Well, hopefully not. Otherwise we're all screwed. And anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, have a nice day.